Helping to erase your pain and changing your future. Chapter 4 and 5. Hey kiddos! Yamada says, walking into the living room where Izuku was working on his quirk analysis while Shinzo worked on his schoolwork. Yeah? Izuku and Shinzo reply at the same time, looking up at Yamada. How would you guys feel if Izuku started going to Itoshi's school? Yamada asked, coming over and sitting next to them on the arm of the couch. Really? Izuku gasped, eyes going wide. You mean I don't have to deal with Kachan and the others anymore? Izuku asked, practically vibrating in his seat with excitement. Yep, Yamada responds with a wide grin. Fun by me, Shinzo agrees with a shrug. I can't even introduce him to my friends. Hitoshi continues, giving Izuku a small smile. That sounds good to you, Izuku? Yamada asked, turning to look at Izuku. Yes! Izuku all but yells as he continues to vibrate in his seat, causing Yamada and Shinzo to chuckle at his antics. Then it's settled. Come Monday, you start at Manabu Middle School. Yamada says with a nod. He'll let the hubbies know as we can finalize the paperwork so you can actually start Monday. Yamada continues with a chuckle, getting up from his spot on the couch. Sweet, thank you. Izuku responds with a wide smile. No problem, kiddo. Yamada replies, ruffling Izuku's hair, causing the kid to laugh before he leaves. Wanna play some video games? Shinzo asks, looking over at Izuku. Sure. Izuku agrees, putting his analysis to the side and grabbing the remote Shinzo was offering him. Before long, the two were laughing and bickering as they played the video game. Come Monday, Izuku in a mixture of excitement and anxious energy got ready. On one hand, he was glad that he was finally starting a new school where Kachan and his other bullies, but on the other, what if the school was worse? Shaking himself before he could go into too much of a downward spiral, Izuku looked himself in the mirror before nodding to himself, he can do this. Opening his door, Izuku made his way to the front door. Ready, kiddo? Yamada asked, ruffling Izuku's hair. As ready as I'll ever be, Izuku replies with a shaky smile. Don't worry, Manabu is way better than my last school. The teachers actually stop bullying when they see it, and don't tolerate quirk usage. They don't muzzle kids or use their quirk status to treat students differently. It's nice, Shinzo says, nudging Izuku's shoulder with his. That sounds like heaven. Izuku sighed, practically melting. I mean, it's still school. Shinzo reasons with a shrug. True, Izuku chuckles. Ready to go? Aizawa asks as he walks into the living room, Shirakumo right behind him. Yep. Izuku cheers, nearly bouncing in place. Great, then let's go, Aizawa says, leading the way to the car. When they arrived at Manabu, Izuku and Shinzo got out of the car and waved goodbye to the parentals as they made their way toward the school. I'll show you the way to the principal's and wait for you while you get your curriculum, but we should have the same classes, Shinzo explains as they walk to the principal's office. Thanks, and fine by me if we have the same classes, Izuku responds with a nervous chuckle. Great, here we are. I'll wait right here for you, Shinzo says, taking a seat outside the principal's office. Thanks, Izuku replies, taking a breath in before making his way inside the office. The whole process was pretty quick. After he thanked the principal and had his curriculum in hand, Izuku made his way back to Shinzo before they both made their way to class. Yep, same classes as me, so it'll show you where to go, Shinzo says as they make their way to the first class. Sweet! Izuku breathes out, relieved that he'll at least have someone he knows in each classes. Before long, they arrived at their first class, and they made their way inside to their seats. Izuku was happy to see he was sitting right behind Shinzo, It wasn't long until the teacher walked in and started their lesson. He didn't even give Izuku a second look other than introduce him to the class before immediately moving on again. So far, so good. Izuku thinks, still waiting for the other shoe to drop. But the other shoe never came, and before he knew it, it was time for lunch. Come on, I can introduce you to my friends, Shinzo says, letting Izuku out of the classroom and to the lunchroom. Hey guys, this is Midoriya Izuku. Izuku, this is Kaminari Denki and Monoma Naito. Shinzo introduces, gesturing to each person. Hey Midoriya, Kaminari exclaims, a wide smile on his face. It's a pleasure meeting you, Midoriya. Monoma says with a kind smile. It's nice meeting you guys too, but please call me Izuku. Izuku says, bowing politely. Then you can call me Denki. Denki states, the wide smile still on his face. Naito. Naito says, the friendly smile still on his face. And soon, the four of them were having a nice conversation as they ate lunch. They talked about different types of heroes and their quirks, and before they knew it, the bell that signaled the end of lunch rang. With promises to meet up after school, the group split up, going their separate ways to their next class. Shinzo and Izuku went one way, and Naito and Denki went the other way. Classes went by, and Izuku was pleasantly surprised when the other shoe never dropped, and before he knew it, the last bell of the day rang, and he and the rest of the class were packing up. So how was your first day? Shinzo asked, walking up to Izuku. Weird. Izuku responds, stopping his packing to rub the back of his neck. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it never did. Izuku confesses, finishing the last of his packing. Well, you have to wait some more cause it still hasn't dropped for me. Shinjo laughs slightly, awkwardly rubbing the back of his own neck. That's good, Izuku says, slinging his bag over his shoulder. Ready to go? Shinzo asks. Yep, Izuku replies. Great! Denki and Naito said they'd meet us by the tree out front. Shinzo says, putting his phone, which he had just pulled out, back in his bucket. Sounds good to me, Izuku states, walking side by side with Shinzo. You know, Shinzo starts after a few silent seconds of them walking together. Since you're going to be staying with us and I get to call you Izuku, it's only right you can call me Itoshi. Itoshi continues, with a nonchalant shrug, though Izuku could see the tip of his hair starting to turn pink. Itoshi then, Izuku says with a nod, though he couldn't stop a smile from taking over his face. Before long, the two of them made it out of the school laughing and joking, and there, waiting for them like they said they would be, was Naito and Denki. Hey guys! Denki cheers, waving them over. Hey Dinks! Itoshi greets with a smirk. Hey Denki! Izuku says with a wide smile. Ready to go to the arcade? Denki asks with a wide smile of his own. Yes! Izuku exclaims, bouncing in place with excitement. Though he'd never actually been to one before, Izuku says, pausing in his bouncing to rub the back of his neck sheepishly. No worries, I'll show you all the fun games, Denki declares with a wink. You think all the games are fun, Naito states with an eye roll. Well, they are. Denki defends himself, causing Izuku to giggle at their antics. The four laughed and lightly bickered with each other all the way to the arcade. From there, they took turns dragging Izuku from one game to another game. All in all, Izuku would say that his first trip to the arcade was a success. By the time the group was saying their goodbyes, Izuku couldn't be happier. He had friends, school had been unproductive in the best way possible, and no one was bullying him. All in all, it was a great day.